Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is June the 16th, 2022. Everything is running super slow for some reason. Um, so if there are any problems with the video, it is because my computer is being a jerk. Now, I did rearrange everything on the desk yesterday because I got a new setup from work. So that could be the problem, and that's probably what I'm going to blame it on. Um, yeah, anytime you ever move anything when it comes to computers, uh, it usually just offsets the whole world, and it usually takes a day for it all to come back in. So we're going to hope that nothing bad happens. Sorry, I'm still kind of moving some stuff around on the desk. I got everything kind of put where I wanted it, but it's not entirely perfect. I I just keep accumulating junk on my desk more and more, and I'm starting to come to the realization that I really need to go through and clean some of this stuff off. It's amazing whenever you spend more than a couple years at a job and you make post-it notes of things that you're supposed to do in the job, especially with an office job, and you're trying to remember different things, and you need to have this information where you can get it very quickly, so you make little post-it notes out of it. um, they tend to accumulate a lot, and they just kind of add up more and more and more. And some of the notes you don't need anymore, some of the notes you forget, some of the notes are just, it's like a chicken scratch list of numbers for some reason, and you don't know why. But mine have just accumulated to the point now that I need to I need to do a complete wipe and start over, because it's gotten to be a bit much, and maybe I'll start doing that here soon. I don't know. But I just have a lot, and I definitely started noticing, like I said, I started noticing yesterday whenever I was setting up this new laptop, and just seeing just how much accumulation I'm getting. But I think I get everything set up. I think I'm good to go to work. I hope. I hope. I don't know. I got it all up and running, and then I realized that there's a couple things that still don't work. And I was like, oh no. It's better than the old laptop. The old laptop was completely broken because they upgraded the Microsoft Office. Everything that entails, like the Outlook, the email thing, and Excel and all the other programs. And they updated it to some kind of a new system. What it was. No, that tells me I need some water. But they upgraded it to a new version, and apparently this old desktop that I got from work will not run it because it's 10, 12 years old. So they gave me something new, and here we are. So, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about God's Word. So, Tuesday, because today is Thursday. Tuesday we read Isaiah chapter 2. Today we're going to read Isaiah chapter 3. I didn't do a video yesterday because our granddaughter woke up at 5:30 in the morning and right as I came in and started sitting down and doing my morning routine to get ready. And before I even had a chance to flip on a computer, I heard her downstairs getting into stuff, so I had to get up and we had a good time. It was an hour and a half of playtime at the kitchen table. That was good stuff, man. I don't think I've ever sat with her for a straight hour and a half and just played. Um, Kids take it out of you. They really do. It's fun to sit there and use your imagination and see how a kid, especially a 3-year-old, will craft narratives. Will where they will go with ideas and just where their mind goes. How they craft stories, how they come up with different things, and it's so awesome to see that. But it it gets to this point that it's you just kind of hit the wall where you're just like, okay, the narrative has spun itself out, and all we're doing at this point now is we're it's almost like we're repeating ourselves. It's like that or the narrative has gone so crazy because she loves to pretend that different characters are other characters that she knows. Um, she's got a lot of the just little trinket toys, Paw Patrols, that we've picked up in different places. She loves Spider Man, um, different things, and she's got like these animals, like these cow. There's a cow and there's a lion. There used to be a tiger. I don't know, or not a tiger. It was a snow leopard. I argue with her with that all the time. It's a snow leopard. No, it's a tiger. That's a snow leopard. Um, but she's got a snow. She's got other different things too. But she'll pretend that certain things are other things, even though I know for a fact she has the toy of the other things, like Spider-Man and Ghost Spider and Spin from it's Spidey and His Amazing Friends. It's cartoon. It's not the worst thing in the world. It really isn't, and she loves it. She loves. It's something that she and I can connect with because I'm a Spider-Man mark, but she will pretend that the cow is Spider-Man. But we have a Spider-Man toy in the house. We have two, actually, as a matter of fact, of the same exact Spider-Man toy. I don't know how it works. Um, but she'll even introduce herself into the narrative, which is amazing. And it's just, like she'll have me talk as the toy to her as a human, and then she will interact inside of the store. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Her imagination is so off the wall. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's the most amazing thing in the world just to sit down and just to talk to a kid and just play with them and just hear where their imagination goes. It's a beautiful thing. I absolutely love it right now because by the time she gets to be 6 or 7, she's just going to lose it all, and I'm just going to be like, ugh, because she's going to be sent to a school. She's not going to be homeschooled, which is going to suck. But she's going to be sent to a school, and every single bit of imagination is just going to be sucked right out of her, and I am not looking forward to that. So right now, I am enjoying every second I get of her being just a 3-year-old kid, just having a time of her life. So, anyways, we're going to read Isaiah chapter 3. And like I've done before, we're going to read right up until the paragraph breaks. We might stop in between. I don't want to make too many breaks, too many stops in between. I don't want to read 3 words and then talk for 5 minutes and then read 3 more words and talk for 5 minutes. I'm trying not to do that. So, Isaiah chapter 3. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them, which is an interesting thing. We will get back to that. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. And every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. There's a lot to unpack there, too. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. I'll have to reread that one, because that one's... For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. And there is a paragraph break right there on verse 9. So, God will take everything away from them. He will take away the stay of the staff, the stay of the bread, the stay of the water. So you will be without protection, you will be without food, you will be without water. He will take away the mighty men, the man of war, the judge, the prophets. He will take away everything. The cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. Wow. He will take away everything from them because they are being bad, because they are not listening to him. And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. Now, a lot of people have been pointing to the fact that they have been using children, especially for the past 30, 40 years. They have been using children as mouthpieces to push their agendas. And it's getting to be more and more like that. You will definitely start seeing a lot more children coming up trying to pull on the old heartstrings. You will see that more and more as we go. Something I had definitely started seeing, and something I started saying a couple years back, is I find it interesting that they are putting somebody like Greta Thunberg up on a panel of people that she has no right being in order to give her opinion, not to get facts, not to get any kind of relevant talk from her, just to get her opinion. And that's basically all she gave, too, because she just, when you heard her speak, she had nothing to say. There was nothing there. It was, I'm a child, and you should listen to me, and I think stuff is bad. That's all it was. And then what was the one she got up in front of an assembly somewhere, and all she did was just go blah, 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 blah. What was that? That's childlike behavior. It's a little tiny kid just trying to play an adult's game. That's all it is. Now, of course, the adults are just as wicked and twisted, and they don't deserve to be up there either, but they're going to start pushing children because that's the way it is. You have to save the world for the kids. You don't even care about the kids. You want to sacrifice kids, and you want to abort the kids before they're even born. What do you care? And the people shall be oppressed, everyone by another, and everyone by his neighbor, which is interesting. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancients. What they do, it's gotten to the point to where children just do not give a crap about their parents at all. You see it all the time. They just rebel. You know why? Because nobody's following the rule of God, where it says if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. I've seen it too much firsthand. In this house, as a matter of fact, that whenever our granddaughter does something bad, and she will not listen. She will not listen. She refuses to listen, and she will stamp her feet and scream, just like all these, all these spoiled millennials that you see everywhere. And but she'll stamp her feet. She'll get mad, and instead of stopping and really buckling down on it and saying, no, you're going to stop acting like this, it is, you're going to either get something taken away from you or you're going to go sit in timeout. And unfortunately, what happens is, if it ever escalates to that point, because I'll be perfectly honest, it never gets to that point, because no one really tries to buckle down on it. As soon as the punishment is over, she just goes right back to doing what she was doing, and it never gets solved. And then it gets worse. There's been times where we've had to actually push out the punishments, make her sit in timeout, and she won't do it. So she started kicking and biting. That's what she does now. She kicks and bites. I'm like, man, any kid kicks and bites me at this point, I'm spanking them. That's just all there is to it. It is what it is, but we don't do spankings. So you don't get that, and nobody learns a lesson. It is what it is. That's how it goes, But that's the way of it now, because they tell you, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Oh no, you shouldn't do that to a child. No, that warps their mind in some way. It doesn't warp their mind. It teaches them a lesson. Show some respect. You do it any other way, and it doesn't show them anything, especially if you're just going to be soft with them. You can't be soft with a child. Now, I mean, as far as punishments are concerned, it is what it is. But that's part of it. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient. And of course, that doesn't just include children. That includes teenagers as well. And the base against the honorable. And the based shall behave himself proudly against the honorable. We could talk about that one all day. How's your pride doing anyways? Your pride doing okay? It's Pride Month. Don't you have pride? Aren't you proud? It's absurd, man. When a man shall take hold of his brother. Now this one, we said we wanted to read this again. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. When a man shall take hold of his brother in the house of his father, saying, thou hast clothing, be thou... There's something more to look into that. And I'm sure somebody's like, oh, I know exactly what that means. Something I'm going to meditate on later. something I'm definitely going to meditate on later. The only thing I can think of is that it's gotten so bad to a point that weak beta males will go after anyone and tell them simply because they have, well, let's look at the Strongs too, but simply because they have more than somebody else, that they should be the protectors of the house, I guess. Maybe. I don't. It seems strange to me. It just seems like a weird, strange one to me. So when he has to take hold of his brother, take hold, shall catch, handle, seize, shall seize his brother in the house of his father. Thou hast clothing, thou hast a mantle, raiments, thou hast garment. Be thou our ruler, of course, chief, ruler, commander, and let this ruin be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread. There's more to it. There's more to it. I'm sure there's more to it. For Jerusalem is ruined and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory. If you turn away from God, if you turn away from the rule and law of God, he will bring you down. And we're seeing it time and time again. It's all starting to fall apart because people have turned. I've been watching more and more videos, and older videos, the liked videos. I was talking about this before on my YouTube channel. And oh yes, there are so many videos that are missing. So many videos. I went down my entire list of liked videos, and there is so much missing now that I guys, entire channels just gone. Thousands of videos just gone. And it just blew my mind. I'm just, where does that information go? Where does that information go? If the guys don't even care to try to re-upload it somewhere else, it's gone. We don't have that anymore. But there was one I was listening to yesterday where the guy was talking about how the progression of America, the people of America, have how they have moved from being a society that actually tried to have God at the center point of their lives, and how we have moved so far past that we are almost back to worshiping just pure evil. There are some people that are. I mean, you have after school Satan club. That's all you got to say. That's where we are now. It's an after school Satan club. It is insane. Verse 9. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They hide it not. They declare their sin as Sodom, and they hide it not, because Sodom reveled in its sin. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say ye to the righteous, that it shall be well with him, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. The evil ones shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. And there's another paragraph break. We've read it in the Psalms, and I've read it in other places, how Sodom, they sinned but they loved it. They put it out on the street because they loved to revel in it so much. They put their evil and darkness right out there in the open because it was a law. Because the rulers of Sodom and Gomorrah made it legal to do everything. Everything. And nobody cared. And it was just pure sin and evil 24/7. The Bible talks about every person in Sodom came to the house of Lot just for two angels. It talked about the young and the old. Men, women, children. Children. Blinded and wearied themselves trying to get to the door just to get these angels so that they could pull them out and know them. That's how bad it was. And then we talk about the book of Jasher, how Jasher describes Sodom and Gomorrah. How they talk about the beds that used to be in the square. And if somebody was too tall for the bed, they'd cut off their legs. If somebody was too short, they'd stretch them. Height requirements. What? Whenever a stranger passed by, they would take the stranger in and then take all of his stuff, take every single bit that he had, give him money, but refuse to sell him anything. After, of course, they knew him. I talked about the stockades. I talked about the stockades that, when you go out and look at like medieval fairs, or you go look at Dark Ages apparati, I guess, is that the word? But you look at these apparatuses that they used to use as torture devices. You look at a stockade where there's a place for your head and your arms inside of two slats of wood, and you realize that those stockades were meant to make somebody bend over. And Sodom is literally where we get the word sodomite. Think about it for a second. Just really think about it for a second, because honestly, the stockades do nothing for anybody. When you're just going to trap somebody out and put their head and their hands inside of a wooden slat. Why couldn't you just strap them around a tree? Why do you have to make this elaborate design of a thing? And then why do you make it so low that they have to bend over constantly? That's not just for torture. That's not just a torture device. We can come up with worse torture devices than that. Because the way it is, you can sit on your knees. That's one of the problems I always had whenever I saw them, is that because some of those stockades were so low, you could just bend your neck and your arms and just rest on your knees and you'd be fine. It never made any sense to me. Why would you want to stand up all the time at some bent position whenever they're low enough that you could just put your head down and rest on your, didn't make any sense to me. But when you really think about Sodom and Gomorrah and you hear about how the open squares would have these torture devices, it makes you think. It really puts it into some kind of perspective where you're like, if somebody was out in the middle of a square, bent over in the stockades, stark ass naked, anybody could come over and come around and do anything they want. That's the level of perversion. Just out in the open. And that's the level of perversion that we are getting to. Definitely nowadays, we're definitely getting to those levels of perversions. I've seen enough videos of people defecating in the streets, of people fighting other people, people killing people right out in the middle of the streets, and nobody around them caring. I've seen videos of people running naked through the streets, standing naked in the streets, having sex right in the middle of the street. Nobody cares. Everybody just goes about their business. Nobody tries to stop it. That's the level of evil you're dealing with. And we haven't even gotten to the days of Noah yet. This is just Sodom and Gomorrah. Woe unto the wicked, it shall be evil with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. Of course, say ye to the righteous, that it will be well with him, that they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Unreal. Verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors. Children shall rule over them. And women rule over them. Well, there you go. There's that too. Okay, we're going to read this again, but just right offhand, the children are their oppressors. It makes you think about the little brown shirts, Now, we've talked about Nazi Germany, and we've said, we don't know what really happened, what really did or didn't happen. But they are going to be using kids to narc on parents eventually. It's just going to come around. It really is. And they're going to have, it's going to become where you have little brown shirts that are going to be, narking all over people and making it worse for everybody to live. It's just a thing. It's coming. Just watch it. Just watch how they use the children. They will turn the children against everyone. You just watch it. Just watch and see. Okay, let's read it again. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. You should never let a woman be in a place of authority. O my people, they which lead thee, cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. The Lord standeth up. It's a page. Hold on a second. The Lord standeth up to plead, and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard, the spoil of the poor is in your houses. What mean ye, that ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts? And there's another page break, or paragraph break. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. They which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. Those that have been chosen to lead you. And the Lord will stand up and plea, and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard. The spoil of the poor is in your houses. We will be failed. They have been failed, and we will be failed too. This is still in the last days, by the way. This is still, you got to remember, where is it at? This is still coming off of chapter 2, the very beginning, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, and it shall come to pass in the last days. This is still what shall come to pass in the last days. We're still on this. This isn't like, this is whenever Jerusalem fell apart, the second time or whatever. This is still in the last days. So this is still to come. You will be failed by the people that rule over you. I don't want to say necessarily your elected officials, but I'll tell you this much right now. There's nothing inside of the Bible that says that man gets to choose his own rulers. Everything in the Bible says that God chooses his own rulers, or chooses the rulers for men, and he chooses wisely. But When people choose their rulers, they choose poorly, and God lets them fall for it. So, elected officials of the people, it's not of God. There's nothing about that whatsoever that comes from God at all. I find it amazingly funny whenever people say, pray for the elections. No, God is not praying for your elections. God said that he will give you a leader and you will follow him. And if you don't want that, then he will give you what you want. But it will lead to destruction just like everything else. So when you go back and you listen to this stuff, it really, it hits home, man. It's amazing how prophetic the Bible actually is when you really get down into it. But he will enter into his judgment, and he will ask them, why? What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces, and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts? What are you doing? You were supposed to be in control, but you're letting it fall apart. What is this? What? The people of Sodom and Gomorrah chose to live like that. And they let their leaders make the rules that they wanted. That is sadly democracy. That's what that is. We do not live in a democracy. We live in a republic where each individual place should get to choose the way that they want to do it. But the way that the globalists want it to be is they want it to be mob rule. And unfortunately, mob rule lets the most vile and wicked of everything through, especially whenever you have a fallen state of people, especially whenever everybody that gets to have a voice is wicked and evil themselves. You do not live in a democracy. Don't let them tell you you live in a democracy. You don't want that. You don't want that. A democracy is 51% telling the other 49% how to live. That's what it is. 51% of the people telling the other 49% of the people how to live. And the worst part about a democracy is that when these laws are written, you have to follow them. And if you don't follow them, then you are put out. You are considered the pariah because you don't want to follow it. But you know in your heart that it's not right. So you can't follow it, But they will put you out for that. That's a democracy. It's 51% of the people telling the other 49% of the people how to live. Forcing the other 49% of the people. You don't want that. Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. So I was reading this the other day, and I thought this was interesting. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their cowls, and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings, the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell there shall be stank, and instead of a girdle a rent, and instead of well-set hair baldness, and instead of a stomacher a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground. All right. Let's unpack this bad boy. There's a lot going on in here, a lot that a lot of people don't seem to understand. And I'm going to have to pull out Strong's. I had pulled out Strong's before on this because I wanted to know what all this stuff was. So, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, because they are just so full of themselves, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. And we've seen the stretched forth necks. We've seen the girls walk and they've got their heads up so that they can show their necks, their hair's back, because the necks are beautiful. And wanton eyes, looking everywhere. You don't put a woman in a place of power because women are pulled by their desires of the eyes, the things that they see, not by the desires of their needs. Walking and mincing as they go. What is mincing? Not that one. That one. There we go. Walking and mincing. Skipping to take quick little steps. Walking and mincing. Probably shuffling their ass as they go. And making a tinkling with their feet. Because I used to have a thing in college. Back in the 90s, women used to wear those little bells around their ankles to kind of, attract your attention. And it does attract your attention. There's something about the tinkling of those bells. I didn't understand it at the time. I just thought, oh wow, that's a nice, ooh, look at the leg on that one, It's one of those types of things. Now I get it. The tinkling of their feet. It is a deceptive way of pulling men's attention to women because they are so, what was it again? They're haughty. They walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, just looking for the next guy to buy stuff, and just looking for the next guy to take them, sweep them off their feet, so that they can just find the next one over and over again. I've seen it. Somewhere along the line, it went from guys having a list of all the girls that they slept with to women bragging about all the men that they've slept with. It didn't used to be like that. It didn't used to be one woman saying that she had oh, I've had 20 guys. I've had 50 guys, It never used to be a thing for women to do that. Now it is. It's like, what? That's nasty. It's nasty when women do it. Guys seem to think that's cool, though. They call it experience. I don't know why I know these things, because I just know these things. Don't ask. Making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. He will smite on top of their heads with a scab. What is a scab? To cause a scab upon, smite with a scab. To join oneself, to attach. To scrape out, but in certain peculiar cases, to remove. Cleave, smite with a scab. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the heads of the daughters of Zion. Now it's interesting that something that they've been finding, especially with black women, all women have it, but they've been finding it in black women, is whenever a woman dies and they're performing the autopsy, when they look at the brains of women, they are finding marks on the brains, on the tops of the brains, black marks, black scabs, I don't want to say blood clots so much, but it's like some kind of hemorrhages on the tops of the brains, and it confuses a lot of people because it's like, oh, they got hit upside the head is what it is. But doctors have started saying no, it's because of the straightening chemicals and the dyes that women put in their hair that causes these chemicals to seep through the skull and then hurt the tops of the brains. That's why their brains do this. They say it's especially prevalent in black women because black women are constantly putting straighteners on their hair to get their hair to, lay down, not be curly. And I don't remember when it was that I heard this. Somebody read this line, and I immediately thought of that news broadcast. This is a thing too. You could look this up where they were talking about how they're finding these bruises on the tops of the brains of dead women, and it was one of those, just another one of those, put the pieces together, piece by piece of how prophetic it actually is. Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. What are the secret parts? Make naked. He will discover their secret parts. He will make them naked. He will cause baldness, and he will cause a scab to form on their heads. Because there's so many women that are losing their hair now, too, because of all the chemicals and all the stuff. Hair loss for women wasn't a thing whenever I was a kid. It wasn't until the mid-90s where they started saying, oh, well, women are losing their hair, yada, yada, yada. You've got so many women now that are out there shaving their heads and wearing wigs. I mean, that's a thing, too. This is talking about the end times. This is describing very specific things that happen to be going on right now. Pay attention. The rest of this, not so much, but still. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls. Their calls are their, what did it say it was? I think it was just their front bands. It's a netting for the hair. Take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their calls and their round tires like the moon. Oh, look, it says tires like a car tires. No, their round tires like the moon are the ornaments, because we're talking about the calls above their heads. The round tires like the moon are the half crescent, not half crescent, I would say quarter crescent, how do you want to say this? I'm looking it up right now. Headdress. Let's see if I can find one for you. The good old ancients, the Egyptians did it. The goddesses, I could just look at the goddess Diana, couldn't I? Because she was the one. Or maybe it wasn't Diana, it was, there's another one. Anyways, there it is, right there. I'll let you guys in on it here. Let's check it out. Where am I at? Display capture. Okay. Alright, there we go. I'll let you guys in on right here. Right here, the tires like the moon. So there's a couple other ones here too that I can show you. Because she had the moon, she was the moon goddess. He will remove the ornaments at their feet and their calls, which are the head wraps, and their round tires like the moon. The round tires like the moon, which was the little ornamental moon things. And I was looking them up because Egypt used to have them too. It signifies the moon goddess. Not just Diana, but Ishtar and not Astaroth. Was it Astaroth? Maybe it was Astaroth. But it signifies the moon, the symbol, because all the women want to worship at the feet of the feet of the goddesses. So that's what they're talking about. You may not really understand it, at first, because you're just like, what does that mean? The tires of the moon. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about the circles. What is, I don't know, what phase of the moon is that? It's some kind of something. I don't know, but it has to do with moon goddesses. It has to do with moon worship. But I was looking for the ones for the Egyptians, and they have them, but I'd have to really dig to find them. But they have it's like a circle with two kind of horns coming out of it, but it's the same thing. It's almost the same exact thing. This is what they were talking about. But he will remove all that. He removed the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, which are kind of a veil for the face, the bonnets and the ornament of the legs, and the headbands and the tablets, which are, I think it said it was some kind of a bracelet. Is that what it was? Seat of the appetites. What? Why is tablets nefesh? Because I know that word for other things. That's weird. Anyways, look that stuff up for yourself. I don't know how to. I thought it was, when I looked it up, I thought it was just the tablets were just another part of their but this is something different. This is nefesh. This is the soul. The tablets, the house of the soul. It's, I guess, could these be the books that they carry? Because they talk about the tablets were little tiny books that they used to wear around their body somewhere. Maybe, I don't know. But in the earrings, the rings, and the nose jewels, it's interesting. You go and you read Enoch, and he talks about the angel that taught women how to wear all this stuff. The changeable suits of apparel and the mantles, and the wimples. Wimples is another veil. And the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, because there was another angel that Enoch talks about that gave them the ability to make perfumes, there shall be stink. And I'll tell you what right now, over the years, I have noticed perfumes are getting worse and worse. It's not so much a bad smell, it is an overpowering chemical smell, and I can't be around chemicals. There are some women in the stores that they have either so much perfume on, or they have some kind of perfume that just is too overbearing for me, that it stinks. Just an amazing, beautiful woman. But she has something on that repels me. And I'm like, I can't be around this. I have to stand, so far back in order not to be able to breathe this, because it's getting in my lungs. It's physically hurting me to smell this woman. I read something like that, and it's like, yeah, we're pretty close. And instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. And there it is again, that he will make them bald. There are so many women right now that are either losing their hair purposely, or their hair is falling out because of all the chemicals. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she, being desolate, shall sit upon the ground. Because there will be no high chairs for them to sit in, because they will be thrown down, because they will have nothing. Because God will take it away. God will take it all away, because you just didn't want to listen. You didn't want to listen, so here, have some of this darkness and evil and destruction. And it's not even like God causes it either. He removes the... What is it? He removes he removes the brace against the door. All the evil's constantly trying to get in. So he just removes the door. He removes the brace. He says, man, I've been trying to hold this back for years and years and years. And I've told you, you just listen to me and I'll keep you good. But you fall away, I'm going to remove it. And you're going to be overcome by the evils of this world. And it's not even like it's going to be my fault either. It's just I'm just going to let the people do what they want to do. So that's what he does. He says, you know what? I'm going to remove it. I'm going to remove the chains. It says at the end of days that he will remove the chains from the angels. They will be released. All the fallen angels will be released upon the world. That has probably happened. He said there was a very specific amount of time that they were supposed to be trapped in chains. And then from there, they were going to be let loose on the world. That has probably happened because we are starting to pick up all the old school, all the old world technology that they brought with them the first time. But then he also says that there will be that short season, that little season of Satan that will come after the 1,000 years is what it is. The 1,000 years with Christ, after Christ comes and everything is good for 1,000 years, and he will give a short season to Satan so that Satan can do whatever he wants. Some people have said that season of Satan is there to make sure that the holy stay holy. That will be their test. I will give you a season with Satan to see if you like it or not. And if that's what you want to do, then fine, that's what you're going to do. But if you stay holy, then you'll make it through. But he says, I'm going to remove the blocks. I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to show you just how evil this world was. I saw how evil the world got one time before. He said at the days of Noah that there is nothing outside of what men think that they will do. That they will be able to do every single type of evil possible whatsoever. And they're going to do it. And I have to put a stop to it. That's what he did. He put a stop to it. He flooded the earth. He killed everything. Everything on the ground. I had to have a talk about this. Somebody was talking about Dagon, the fish god. And I had to say, they worship fish because it was every land animal that got killed. It wasn't all the things in the sea. So whenever they came out on the other side, they had to, they found out that maybe there were some of the fallen angels that went down into the fish. Maybe part of the whole thing was that they were making genetic freaky fish people and to survive, because they knew it was coming. You don't get told for, what was it, 150 years, I think it's what it was. You don't get told for 150 years, oh hey, by the way, there's going to be a flood. You're all going to be wiped away by some massive flood. You don't take 150 years and not try to prevent it. Some of them didn't listen. I get that. That's fine. But it doesn't say in the Bible that everyone chose not to listen. There were probably some people that were like, we can prevent this. Everything on land got killed, but not everything in the water got killed. And you hear about the legends about mermaids, half fish, half men creatures that, existed at one point in time and probably still do. I've talked about maritime law again, over and over and over again. Maritime law. We are under the law of the sea. There's a reason for that. It's because these people were sailors. These people were fishermen. These people were boaters. These people worship the sea. That's why there are so many sea gods. And these people had control of the sea. They were able to sail everywhere. Sail everywhere and do everything. They spread across the entire earth in boats. They talk about the going out and hunting the great Leviathan. They talk about going out and hunting the great sea creatures, which is all part of this whole thing. There's something to it. What is it? 75% of the world is covered in water, and we don't care to go discover any of it. Supposedly we've mapped it out, but we don't want to try to use any of it at all. It's just there. Just whatever. Just whatever, man. It's a whole bunch of stuff. We don't care. We're gonna go to other worlds. Is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna worry about everything we can't see. We're not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna go do other stuff. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd to think about. There's something going on there. There really is. And I've already talked about how when they do space flights, or supposedly do space flights, and they show the guys walking out in space, and they show the bubbles, the water bubbles that appear in space, the weird random little, bubbles of whatever that come out of the spacesuits or, come out of wherever. And the fact that all those spacewalks look like they are swimming in water. And I've said it before, what if they are underwater? What if that's what it is? What if they are down so far that they're just in like the black murkiness of the sea, and they're doing something down there? I don't know what it is, but what if they're doing something under the water? What if they're down in the trenches? What if the real true whole of Apollyon that the Antichrist is supposed to come out? What if it's down in the ocean? What if that's where they're getting the technology from? So many questions, not enough answers. That's all the time I got for today. I'll let you guys go. Oh, man, I've been talking a lot. My throat's starting to hurt. I need to get some water and start getting ready for work. So you guys take care of yourselves. God bless every single one of you. I love you all. You guys take care of yourselves, man. Seriously. I watched that video True Stream Media did about intentions. They did the rice experiment. And I'm going to start pushing that a little bit more than I used to. Have love in your heart. Push love out to the world. Don't push hate. Push love. Tell people you love them. Tell people you love them and you care for them. I love all you guys. And I just want you guys to know the truth and be better. Be better for it. Don't be tricked by the evil in this world. Stand up for yourselves. Stand up for what you believe in. And don't be tricked. So, with all that, you guys take care of yourselves. I shall talk to you later. Bye.